All right, so here we are, part 2 of our Final Cut Pro 10 demonstration. So what we're going to do now that we've basically set up our project here with our synced up files is we're going to add all of the details. Now there's certain things that the students in Psychology 3350 have asked to learn how to do, like green screening and compositing backgrounds, and also even doing split screen, so screen within screen. So those are the things I'm going to show you. Now, you will see that we actually have 2 different clips here. And essentially, whatever clip is on the top, at the top of this pile here, is the clip that's going to show. And if you want to mute or make a track not visible, you press the letter V and you can see it turns it off. And now what we're seeing is this clip down here. If we click V again, we see the clip on the top. And so what's going to be really cool is we're actually going to put these 2 scenes side by side so that we can see both happening at the same time. Now, I didn't do this in the original video, but now that I'm thinking about it, it might have been really cool. So let's go ahead, and what we're going to do is we're going to transform this image. So we're going to select basically this editor here, and under here you can do transform, which is size, crop, which is cutting off the sides, or distort if you wanted to like warp the image. For now, what we're going to do is transform. I'm going to move this one over to here. That looks pretty good. And then under crop, I'm going to grab the sides and I'm going to move it until it's about, yeah, that looks like it's snapped in there. I think it's snapped to exactly halfway through, which is great. And now I'm going to select this clip on the bottom. I'm going to go back to transform. I'm going to move it so that this performer is about equidistant. I'm going to go into crop and I'm going to pull this. There we go. And you can see it snapped in there, which is perfect. I'm going to select done. And now you can see that what we have is 2 different shots of the same thing that are synced up perfectly. And now we can go ahead and have some fun and play with this. Now you can see that right now, as it's playing, it's looking quite pixelated, but when it stops, it actually doesn't look too bad. And just note that I actually compressed these files down to 480 DPI, which is actually like iPhone size, because I wanted to be able to upload these files to Moodle. So these went from high definition down to 720 down to 480. So the quality of the image isn't going to be great, but these are files that we're using just for this exercise. Okay, so now if we put the volume on, let's see how this centering is. Yeah, this one's a little too far over. Yeah, so all of these images are too far over. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select this. I'm going to go back in to transform. I'm going to move this over more like that. And then I'm going to crop it, hoping it's going to snap in like it did before. Love that. Love that feature. Perfect. So now you can see it looks a little more balanced. Yeah, I'm liking that. Okay, cool. Now, let's play with the green screen shots. So this green screening wasn't done very well. Normally, you would actually set up a light kit to project the light nice and evenly on the green screen. But even in this case, Final Cut does an excellent job removing the background. So you can see these are all the different effects and whatnot on the side in this version. So here we have all of our different effects. And here's where you can get your media if you need media, some music and whatnot. Here's all your transitions. So this is transitioning from cut to cut. Here's where you can do all of your titles, including your lower thirds. And I'll show you what that is in a little bit. This is a generator for different kinds of things like bubbles, if you wanted to put bubbles, but this is mostly kind of stuff that I don't really use. It's kind of gimmicky, but sometimes it's actually a good way to create a plug, actually. You could create just a solid color. Somewhere in here there's a solid color. Where is the solid color? Anyway, you could just grab this and put a plug at the beginning if you needed to. And then we have different themes, and that's if you want the whole thing to be done in like a sports theme or whatever, but I like to have more control than that. But for now, we're going to go into our effects browser, and we're going to go under keying, because keying is basically another word for green screening. And I'm going to grab the keyer, and I'm going to drag it on top of here. And in theory, what it's supposed to do, and I don't think it did it, it's supposed to actually remove all of this and make this transparent. And I'm not exactly sure why it looks like that. Oh yeah, there we go. If we look here, we can see it's black. So that shows that behind here, there's basically blackness. Okay, now, I have to explain something about the workspace. So essentially, whatever is in this middle section is always going to be, it's sometimes going to be stuck to or linked to this audio clip. But you can see that we have this black plug here, and fortunately, the song clip is attached to that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab, where's that crazy spiral? I'm going to take this spiral. I want the whole thing, and I'm going to try and stick it. Will it let me? Underneath. Okay, let's see if it will let me do that. All right, and we don't see the green screen until here. So the green screen shows up right about there. So I'm going to move this to here. And now you see where the green screen was, we now see the spiral. The spiral shows through. And then same thing, we could grab this stunning photo of Donald Trump, or even this one in front of the flag, and we could stick this underneath the second green screen image, which is like, starts about here. And because this is a still shot, we can drag it as long as we want. Whereas this is a video clip, you can't make it longer. But now you can see in the background where the green screen was, it's removed the green and it's allowing whatever we put underneath to show through. So that's how that's a basic crash course in compositing. So now, if we watch our video, forced into pregnancy, take away their rights, take away their agency, objectification. Join the conversation, fellas. Time's up. Hey, Donald. This girl's so fierce. I love her. Say it. Yes. All the way across Mexico. Okay, so this song obviously is amazing, and so are these incredible teenagers. So you can see now what we've done is we've created screen within screen. We've added an effect, a keyer effect on top of our green screen to remove the background, and we've composited in the background a still image and a moving image. I found this image online. It's a copyright-free image, and I found this. It's a copyright-free motion graphic. There's lots of free motion graphics you can find online. And so now we got to do things like add some opening and closing credits. But first, let's just make a little collage of Dawn. Little Donald Trump action at the beginning here. Come on. There we go. Oh, this is a beauty. What a beautiful human being. Yes. We love Donald Trump, not. We love Donald Trump, not. Okay, let's grab this one. Let's go like that. Let's grab this one because that's a beauty too. Yes. There we go. Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah, he's saying some loving words to one of his fans there. Yes, he is. I'm going to drag this. So now at the beginning, what we've created is a little montage. And of course, I've done this completely randomly. We could have cut it to the beat and whatnot, but for the purposes of this, we're just basically showing you how to use media. Now, if you want to do a fade in at the beginning, what you do is you use Command T. Command T will put an automatic fade in at the beginning. And then if we zoom into this, zoom in is basically Command plus or Command minus to zoom out. So now we can come in and we can control how long this fade in is, if it's short, if it's long. I'm going to just use the default, and you can see that there's a nice fade in here. Now we could also add some transitions. Now, in general, I know I've talked to you guys in class about transitions and how I mostly like to stay away from them because they're kind of kitschy. The transition that people use the most is just a cross dissolve. And a cross dissolve, if you stick it on here, it basically will now, like a slideshow, cross dissolve in between images. Isn't that lovely? Yes. It's like a dream that never ends. Now, I'm going to undo that. That's just Command Z. Command Z, you can just keep Command Zing all the way until you started up this session, so it remembers all of your functions. But for now, we're going to be a little bit kitschy. So let's throw in some of these ridiculous transitions so that you get a sense. Now let's do arrows. Let's do center. One of the ones I actually don't mind using is a swipe or a push. Where do we find that? Oh, cube is actually not too bad too. I don't mind cube. I've used that one a number of times. What do they call it in Final Cut? Is it a swipe or is it a push? Yeah, so this is a push from top to bottom, so that's okay. Let's do that. Oh, apparently it doesn't want to let us. Come on. Yeah, create transition, whatevs. Okay, so now let's go back and see what that looks like. Nice. Okay, so you can see there's all of our transitions and there's a fade in. All right, now let's go to the end. Oh, and look at that. It's created a fade out. And I think it may have even made this out of sync. It might have pulled this back. So I'm just going to undo this last one. Okay, now we're going to fade this out at the end. Command T, select the end here. Command T, select the end here. Command T. Now, we want to put some credits in at the beginning and the end. So if we come back to the beginning, we're going to use what's called a lower third. And a lower third is that thing you see on the news that's usually at the bottom here saying like CBC News live from wherever. And You've got all different kinds of lower thirds, like this or like this. You've got like super girly fun ones if you're doing a song about rainbows and unicorns. You've got really basic. You've got more frivolous ones like the organic, or this one's kind of like techy and cool. I tend to use this one a lot. I'm not sure why. I just love the way the image is made, and I love how it's kind of asymmetrical. So what you do is if you double click on this, it will pull up the editor in here, and then you can put in whatever you want. So this is PSYC 3350, and I'm going to double click on the bottom, and I'm going to put Final Cut Pro 10 demo. And now you will see it needs a few seconds to render. So this orange line is it rendering. And then now you can see there's our lower third. Now it just kind of pops out. So just like these clips, I can also use Command T and add a fade out on this. So this will now also fade out. Now if I wait a second and I watch right here, this is my progress bar. Now I can see that transition is done, and now I can see it in all of its glory. Nasty woman. Nice. Okay, so there's our lower third at the beginning, and now at the end we're going to put basically just some simple oh my god, what's the word? Just some info at the end, okay? Some credit info at the end. So you can do a basic, which basically is like this, and then you can double click on it, and you can write whatever you want, right? Blah, 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 blah. Or you can go in and you can grab a scrolling. So credits. So if this was an actual film, there's different kinds of credits. So this is like an art film, this is like a Hollywood film, and this is like scrolling. So basically what you would do is you would grab this, you'd throw it in, and then in here you can go in and edit all of the stuff. So the title of the film, written by, person's name, directed by, person's name, producer, person's name, camera person, person's name, editor, assistant editor, etc. And then what it will do is it will scroll through like that. Okay? And what a lot of people like to do is grab an image, like anything, throw it in here. Sometimes it's bloopers. You get the bloopers. I'm going to grab this and transform it. I'm going to make it smaller. I'm going to stick it over here on the side. Like that. And maybe I'll even grab my credits and move them over. Move this here. And then you go, let's make it a little bigger. You go done. And now what happens is as the credits are rolling, you also have this image on the side. So even with your opening and closing credits, you can edit them the same way you do all of your media throughout the film. Okay, so that is essentially as much as you need to know with editing. And then when you're done, what you do is you go File, you go Share, and you do Master File. And Master File will basically mix it down to whatever is the resolution that you've chosen. In this case, it's 480p, which isn't very big. Usually it's HD, and so then you would want to get the best quality that you can, and then you can always compress that quality later. So you would go Master File. Come on, spinning wheel of death. You can do it. You can see it's going to be 72 megabytes, not very big because it's only 480p. And I'm going to call this cut 1. I'm going to save it on my desktop for now. It usually doesn't take very long. Here's the progress, and the progress it will show you how long it's going to take. And then basically you have your QuickTime movie. So there it is. What we did today in this session was we started a session from scratch. We created an event. Inside that event, we created a project. Inside our project, we imported all of our media using Command-I or under File, Import. We stuck our files in. We selected the files on the left side that we wanted to sync up. We used right-click, synchronize clips to synchronize them. It created a synchronized clip. We dragged it in. We opened it up using right-click, open in timeline, and then we came in. We put these clips in here. We used the transformation box to move them around and to crop them. Then we went in here to where our green screen is. In our effects browser, we used the keyer. We dragged it on top. You can see, here's the keyer in the effects. And then underneath that, we added from our library some things to go behind, composited behind our green screen. We added some stuff at the beginning. We added a fade in, which is Command-T. We added in some transitions, which is over here in our transitions browser. Then we added in some opening and closing credits. First, we used lower thirds. Right here is where our lower thirds were. We added that in. When you double click on this, it shows up here in the editing pane. And then we went to the end and we added some scrolling credits at the end. And we even put a clip in there to watch during the credits. So there it is. Final Cut Pro in 20 minutes or less. You guys can do this. Go make some awesome art, and I'll see you in class.